Fresh off the massive success of his 2018 classic Shoplifters, no, actually, let's just call it what it is. It's a masterpiece. Director Hirokazu Koreeda is back with a very different film, The Truth. This film was previously planned to be released in cinemas last week, but obviously because of current events, it's now available on Curzon Home Cinema in the UK, so you can buy it and watch it there. That's not only a nice way to support cinemas in this difficult time, the Curzon chain in particular, but also a good diversion. The big question is The Truth any good?
The house looks like a castle.
It does.
Yes, even though there's a prison just behind it.
Fabienne, Catherine Deneuve, is an aging film star who made it big in the 60s French cinema boom. Her autobiography is about to be published, and her daughter, Juliette Binoche, comes to visit, along with her daughter and American husband Ethan Hawke. On reading the book, she's outraged about inaccuracies in it, and she sticks around to give her mum a piece of her mind. Meanwhile, Fabienne has signed onto a new film with a bright young thing, an up-and-coming actress. That film is a story in itself, a science fiction piece about mothers and daughters that brings uncomfortable feelings to the fore. So, back to the central question of this review, of any review really. Is The Truth any good? Is it worth seeing? The short answer is that The Truth is very good, while also probably being the worst Koreeda film. There's plenty of variety in Koreeda's work, don't get me wrong. There's the fantastical Afterlife, which is set in heaven or close enough. Air Doll, which is about a sex doll who comes to life, and that's all contrasted with the very grounded Nobody Knows and of course Shoplifters. He's made some very austere and arty films like his debut movie Maborosi, and he's also made some very accessible, cute films like I Wish, which, if you're in the UK and you haven't seen it, is currently on BBC iPlayer and definitely worth your time. The Truth feels quite different from all that again, probably because it's not in Japanese and it features very famous actors. Well, Koreeda hasn't always worked with new actors. Kieran Kiki is a household name and she was in 5 of his movies, but in this case these are European and American actors. They're big hitters who I know from lots of other films, and that doesn't always sit well with that immersive, naturalistic style of Koreeda's directing. It's hard, for instance, to see Ethan Hawke on screen and not think of him as Ethan Hawke, even if his acting is fabulous, and it is. On top of that, it's a film about celebrities, fame, and the film industry, or at least tangentially around those things. It's constantly calling attention to itself and its different kind of production methods. The meta elements of the plot are sometimes heavy-handed. He tends to use the film within a film as a way of hammering home the themes of the movie. It's a fair distance from the subtlety of Koreeda's best work. So all of that together, at first, watching the film was a bit of an odd viewing experience. It was sort of hard to get used to. But underneath this odd feeling that you're watching something familiar but not familiar, everything that characterizes Koreeda's work is on display. At its heart, The Truth is built around observing family life with its difficulties, idiosyncrasies, and the warmth of family love. There's rich, humanistic character writing and a wonderfully constructed child actor performance. There's these strong touches of comedy, and there's also this moving, emotional story. And of course, plenty of eye-level shots through doorways. Where would Koreeda be without those, huh? The film's famous performers are reliably excellent. Deneuve kind of rules the roost as this nasty old screen queen. She's playing her comedy skills to the max, while never really pushing for a laugh, which helps. It doesn't feel like she's doing bits. It also helps that Fabienne herself is a complex and deep character, because under all of that bluster she feels lost and threatened, particularly by this new young actress, and Deneuve is masterful at peeling back those layers to show that off very slowly and methodically. Binoche too gets to play her kind of restrained and angry thing. It's a masterclass in pursed lips and annoyed sighs. There's no denying, of course, that Koreeda is a sentimental director, really, and at times that kind of gets the best of him here. There is a big drama scene, TM, that revolves around a tense meal that's maybe a bit too far, it kind of tips over into melodrama, but it also pays off a number of character beats that are essential to the film, so I don't know how they do without it. It helps, I think, that Koreeda's judgment and directorial style means there's a number of naturalistic devices that punctuate that scene, which gives you a bit of a break from the moody French acting styles, which I'm not knocking, it's just its own flavour, you know? Hawke plays this kind of lovely, slightly dim TV actor, and his French is almost non-existent, so the biggest reveals of the story usually involve him looking at his wife, waiting for a translation. So, good performances, occasionally a bit too performed, but mostly held in check. A clever story, occasionally too clever, but at worst just slightly over-explained. A sentimental tone, occasionally melodramatic, but mostly tempered by comedy. Strangely, that reminds me most of all of The Terminal, Steven Spielberg's quiet, relatively small scale and somewhat wacky comedy wedged between that phenomenal ticking clock, cat and mouse drama thriller Catch Me If You Can, and the apocalyptic War of the Worlds. After his critical darling, commercially successful, best yet film Shoplifters, Koreeda has basically taken time out to make a lighter, softer, accessible, smaller scope film. And what's wrong with that? I think we can all do with a little bit of a break right now. If you're interested on watching The Truth, it's currently available on Curzon Home Cinema in the UK, and hopefully a VOD platform will have it wherever you are as well. It's worth just considering about buying and supporting films during this difficult period for the world and for cinema, and The Truth's warm and humanistic approach to life will hopefully provide some comfort to you during this time. That's it from me. Have a good one, and please stay safe out there. Bye for now.